big sound in a small town, far away from the big city lights, making music every night. Good music with all our friends. Tell everybody, tell your mama and them, we're going out and we're getting down. A big sound in a small town. A big sound in a small town. A big sound in a small town. A big sound in a small town.
Hi, welcome to Season 4 of Big Sound Small Town. I'm your host, Sandy Carlton. Join me as musicians tell their stories about how they became musicians and the stories along the way.
Yeah, this one's called Wild Man. Johnny was a wild man, stole and robbed. Never had no family, never had no job. Born into a life of crime he was, and the thrill of it all gave Johnny a buzz. But one day the law had him cornered in a chicken shack outside of Cumberland. Well, Johnny did time for a month or so, but one day Johnny had to get up and go. Well, he's alive and he's well, but where did he go when he sprung from jail? Johnny, listen to me, you got to get out of Tennessee. The Oak Ridge Bank got hit up today. The wild man's fingerprints all over the safe. The rumor mill has it he's hiding out in Johnson City at the edge of town. But he's alive and he's well, but where did he go when he sprung from jail? Johnny, listen to me, you got to get out of Tennessee. Yeehaw! That's right, Johnny. Well, he's alive and he's well, but where did he go when he sprung from jail? Johnny, listen to me, you got to get out of Tennessee. You got to get out of Tennessee. You got to get the hell out of Tennessee. Hello, my name is Andrew Wakefield. I'm a singer, songwriter, and guitarist for the bands Supper Break and the Well Drinkers and the now defunct band called Seinfeld. Just all around rambler and picking and grinning enthusiast.
Well, it sounds like there again, you must be in demand. You're working multiple bands.
Yeah, I stay busy.
That's good.
It's good because I get to play different styles. You know, the Well Drinkers is, I think it's a little more songwriting based.
Right.
And Supper Break is a party band.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's music, so there's room for both.
Yeah.
Do you play the same type of? Okay, you're a guitarist. Do you play electric in any of those?
No, but I have occasionally I'll turn my overdrive on.
Right, yeah.
Just if I'm getting real weird with
Sure.
supper break. So
Yeah, I understand. Okay, so let's tell everybody where you live now.
I live in Chimney Rock, North Carolina. I just moved from Travelers Rest, South Carolina, by way of California.
Oh, that's kind of around the corner move.
Yeah, well,
Did you grow up in Travelers Rest?
I did not. I was in California when COVID hit, and the dobro player for the Well Drinkers and Supper Break, he's also in both bands, Adam, amazing player by the way, he invited me to come make music with him, and I thought lockdowns were going to happen, and I did not want to be stuck in Humboldt, California with nobody to play with, so I went to Travelers Rest and stayed there for the last 2 years, and then just moved in with my girlfriend in Chimney Rock.
Oh, Chimney Rock. Chimney Rock.
Upgrade.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt, that's an upgrade. Hey, I've interviewed musicians from just about everywhere. You're the first Chimney Rocker.
Yeah, well, don't tell anybody because the market is pretty good there. There's not a lot of musicians trying to play there, so pretty much everywhere I've played, everywhere there is to play, I've played and am playing there.
That is really cool.
So.
I mean, it's funny about musicians, and there's a group that's in Bavard. There's a group, of course, in the Asheville area. Mm-hmm. Then there's another group over in the Old Fort area.
Yep.
And it's kind of weird. I mean, everybody kind of gets themselves apart from Asheville a little bit,
We're spread out. Jake, the singer for the Well Drinkers, he lives in Charlotte. So, he lives there. Jeremy, Josh's brother, Jeremy Rilko, lives in, I guess, Weaverville now. Adam used to be the furthest away, but he just moved to Asheville. So I think, for Supper Break, actually Zach would be the furthest out. We're all spread out.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously you guys don't rehearse a lot. I mean, you got it down now.
We are trying to do once a week. I mean,
that's good.
The thing is, if you don't rehearse, which we have had a problem with sometimes, but if you don't rehearse, you're stuck with the same set list.
You are, and as much as that can be good, sometimes you have it all down pat and all, and also get stale.
I think all of us want to just keep them coming. I mean, we have our bangers and stuff, but we always, I think the goal is to have about 1,000 songs that you can pull out.
I mean, I think that's really good. That way you can. I play in a band. I have no idea. I played with them a pretty good while, and I could not tell you how many songs we have. And every once in a while, if we don't rehearse some of the ones that we haven't done in a while, it's like, oh God, man, we need to rehearse next week because we didn't do that very well.
Yep, I firmly believe there's no such thing as too much rehearsal.
I'm kind of the same way, and I've played in bands that were both types. Oh man, let's just wing it. We'll wing it. We'll get through it. We're pretty good. We'll get through it.
We're good at that too.
Yeah, but it's not. But there again, sometimes it's not as tight as you would like for it to be.
Right.
And it does limit your repertoire a bit.
And sometimes you wing it and you're like, man, that was really good. Oh, I know.
Good. Yes, you do. Yeah. Yeah, you do. Also, sometimes you wing it and it's like, oh man, we're not doing that again.
Yep.
We've actually playing if someone we like says die, say like John Prine. Mm-hmm. We might do 2 or 3 jobs in a row during, like after he died, or Tom Petty, where we covered those songs just as a tribute. And some of those worked really well, and someone's like, man, we should kind of practice that before we did that.
They're not all 4/4, some of them.
Right.
Paradise, that song.
Paradise, yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you'll ask someone if they know it, and they'll say sure, and then
they don't.
The extra beat throws them off. So
yeah, it does.
And he's got a lot of words too. Sometimes
he does have a lot of words. That's another thing too. We keep words because we have to go over them every once in a while too. It's like, in fact, if even my own personal songs, if I don't do them, you let them sit a while, then sometimes I'll wind up doing them, and it's like I'll get through and I wasn't even close on those words.
Yep, I've definitely been known to gibberish my way through a couple songs every now and then.
Yeah,
sometimes, most of the time, they can't tell the difference.
Well, and there again, that's the age-old question of you're playing a place, and is anybody really hearing what you're doing? Or are you just background music?
Right.
Or selling beer. I think I've heard it is, as a musician, you're just a beer salesman. So.
Yeah, you got to be a good beer salesman.
Yeah. So.
It definitely, for me, it depends on the venue. You want to play somewhere that focuses on the music.
Sure.
You don't want to be background music, but
it happens.
If you got to be background music, that's what you're going to be.
Well, and it's better than, you're still playing music.
Yep, still playing music.
That's like with covers. No band of musicians that write really want to do covers.
Mm-hmm.
But there again, you really want to work and let people hear your music. So there's a bit of that you have to do from time to time.
You have to. And I find that location is a lot too. I don't know why Asheville is like this, but most of the places that you play in Asheville want to hear your original music.
They do. Asheville's good about that.
And if you play something too popular, a lot of times it doesn't go well.
Sure.
So, and it's the exact opposite in Greenville, and I'm not sure why that is.
It's a South Carolina thing, man.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're used to. If you think about it, I spend a lot of time playing music in South Carolina. They do not have a lot of original artists working there. If you think back even to for acts that's come out of there, like one of the biggest acts to ever come out of there was Hootie and the Blowfish.
Okay.
They just don't have.
Yeah.
And they have no. How can South Carolina just skip over bluegrass?
I can get down on some Hootie.
Oh yeah, Hootie, man. That was good stuff. I agree. But that's the flagship of South Carolina music. If it's not beach music, so.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I definitely know some really good songwriters. Veli Harrington. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah.
He's great. Got a buddy, Quentin Mashburn, who's a really good songwriter. He doesn't play out much, but and then Jake, who from the Well Drinkers. Right. I think he's originally from the Greenville area. So there are songwriters down there.
And I know some fabulous songwriters and musicians from there.
I think it's something about I don't know. I can't explain it.
But they don't do a lot of it acoustically. Most of the guys I know there and females that are good writers. None of them play bluegrass, and most of them are rock / indie type things, which it really require them to play more covers there because that's what they're used to.
Yeah, it definitely is the venue that you're playing.
It is, and sometimes the town. You can come to this town full of really good musicians, venues to play.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is a listening room, which you really like to play. And then, one of them is packed full of people who are, want you to do your originals, but you wonder how much they're listening, So, it does kind of depend the town, and Asheville's great, though, as a songwriter.
I've always wanted to play the deep cuts, I think music addicts kind of a lot of their favorite artists are artists who will cover something that's just deep cut, and you're like, wow, he's playing that song that nobody knows, but I know it, and so he obviously knows his stuff, stuff like that.
It's funny that I'll inject something since you brought that up. So there's a guy in the area who plays covers, and he's really good at it. He's a solo guy. He's just really good at it. Well, I play in a band with a guy named Kevin Bridges, fabulous songwriter. But this guy calls Kevin deep cuts because when we do if we cover a song, it might be by an artist but it's not the song that you've heard. Mm-hmm. And he always calls him deep. He seems, what's up, deep cuts? And it's like, because you say that, but that's the
I like that. That's a badge of honor for him.
He thinks that's really cool. We we kind of poke at him about it, you know. What's up, D-Cuts? You know, what are we doing today, you know? But yeah, I think it is a badge of honor to do that.
Yeah.
I saw that, I seen some of the new Acoustic Syndicate stuff that they're recording up at Organic.
Where is that? Where's Organic?
It's in Arden.
Arden. Okay.
And it's
It's a record label and a studio, or
it's Crossroads Studio, but they have
okay.
Organic Records and Mountain Home Records.
Cool.
They do bluegrass. They got one label that does bluegrass, another label that does Americana. They got Acoustic Syndicate. They got Aaron Burdett, if you know Aaron, or Anya Hinkle. You know, they got, and then they really, where they make their big bucks is they pretty well have the Southern gospel stuff down there. You know? So it's but yeah, they got some really deep. They got a couple of really deep Little Feat covers that they've got on their new record coming out, or one.
One of my favorites, man.
So yeah, Feet, man, you can't beat that. And they're paying homage because they toured some with Little Feat. And
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
So
Are they're still touring, or?
yeah, they're still playing, not as much, but they have a brand new record deal, and they're getting ready to finish up this one, and they got a deal for more. So
Cool.
So they're back working, and in fact, I just heard some of the new stuff that's going to be released, and it's really good.
Love me some Little Feat.
Oh yeah.
What's the guy that died?
Lowell George.
Yeah, Noel George. Man, he's a good songwriter. Great songwriter. Great musician.
Great music. Great slide player.
If Frank Zappa's hiring you as a
true.
bandmate, you're going to be you got to be top notch.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like, well, this is funny too. There's a guy that lives in Brevard, Jeff Sipe. Do you know who Jeff is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Jeff,
played with him once.
Yeah, Jeff told me that when he went to college, his roommate was Steve Vai, and that he had come in with a bunch of transposed Frank Zappa stuff, you know, and it's like, wow.
Crazy.
And he was at Berkeley. I mean, they were roommates at Berkeley together, and he played music with him. But that's kind of crazy that a kid can come into school with transcribed Frank Zappa stuff.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it, I don't know if you can. A lot of people need to transcribe that, because that stuff is really out there, you know?
Yeah, it is. I mean,
I can't imagine trying to, you know, some of these bluegrass songs you can.
Yeah.
But some of those, I can't imagine not being able to sight read and know a whole lot of Frank Zappa. I know a little just because I love him. But
right, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I mean, to transcribe that stuff's just crazy to me, and to think Lowell George was one of his guys, which tells you right there his music ability. I mean, incredible. Yeah. And in fact, the story goes, Frank told him, "Well, man, if you're gonna write all these drug songs, just go get your own band."
Yeah.
So
he said, "Okay."
Yeah. All right, I'll do that.
Yeah.
And it was a daggum good band too.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a what's that show? It's a variety show from the 70s. It's like country, I think. What is it called? It's gonna drive me nuts. I'll think of it if I can later. But it always has a different musical host, and then they'll have different musical acts come on.
Yeah.
And there's one with him. I'll try to think of it. But it's amazing. Well, he's sitting in with everybody, and Bonnie Raitt's there, and she's talking about how cute he is, and Emmylou Harris is there. It's just a cool show. Remind
me to tell you after we're through a Lowell George story.
Okay.
That I do not feel comfortable airing.
Okay. Sounds juicy.
Yeah, it is. So, tell me about how you became a musician. Did you you just didn't wake up and become a guitar player, right?
My father, my whole family is musical. My father played just about everything, which inspired me the most, I would say. He could pick up a saxophone and or cool. You know, a harmonica or whatever, and I just thought it was so cool.
Right.
And I used to make him play electric guitar for me. When I would go to sleep, he would just, it's kind of funny because
that's
I'm
cool,
going to
man.
sleep and he's just,
He's not playing
just
pretty
playing,
stuff. I mean, he's,
Van Halen licks, and I'm like,
that's too cool.
yeah. So he definitely was my biggest inspiration, and then always listening to my parents harmonize and stuff. I grew up in South Korea my first 10 years because my parents were missionaries.
Yeah.
And so the music that we got, other than the classic rock that my dad would listen to, was very minimum. So I think my younger years was like Michael Jackson, and then the Beatles and Led Zeppelin, whatever my dad threw at me, and then whatever my sisters were listening to. But I basically just sang, played a tennis racket before I could play guitar, and then we moved to the U.S. and I picked up a guitar and just I learned "Ticket to Ride" was my first. Just
Great
that
song.
Yes,
I mean, that's a great little riff too.
And then at the time, I was listening to really easy music to play, Green Day and 90s music, bar chords.
Yeah.
So power chords, actually, which is just two fingers, and you can transpose any chord.
Any
F,
chord.
play an F, okay.
Yeah.
Play an A,
Yeah.
So I just cheated for a long time doing that, and then just got obsessed. I was really obsessed with classic rock for a real long time. Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, that whole world.
You know, that's some really fine music, some of the finest music ever made.
I think the Beatles are,
Sure.
one of my top songwriters, just because they're really not formulaic at all. I mean, there'll be a little just some random something in the middle of one of their songs, and you're like, wow, that's so cool, because it's not just A, B, A, B, A, C.
Sure.
And so I always try to sort of emulate them as much as I can.
Take Strawberry Fields. I mean, that is about as dysfunctional thing that works
It
as
does.
good as anything that you've ever listened to. I mean,
It works.
And it's totally dysfunctional if you look at it from a music standpoint.
Yeah. Did you know Paul wrote Penny Lane, which is about where they used to live, and then John wrote Strawberry Fields, so they would kind of back and forth at each other sometimes, which I think is really cool too.
I mean, that's just that really modern music. Those guys would be the Beethovens. It's stuff really. Not only was it groundbreaking, but it's been really hard to replicate.
It has, and I think in 200 years, I think people will be listening to them.
I think they'll be viewed that very same way.
So.
Plus George Martin, they had a great producer, which that helps too.
It helps. Great producer.
I mean, somebody that has ideas, understands your ideas, and help you achieve what you're. Because I realized he played or taught Paul how to play like piano parts and all to when he would have an idea. He was, well, you probably need this as opposed to that.
Yeah.
Which would be really helpful with someone that really knew.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what they would have sounded like without a wrangler like him.
Yeah, it does. I'm sure there still would have been fabulous.
Oh, I'm sure it would have.
But one of the great things that really helped them is basically they had unlimited studio time, and really wasn't burdened with the touring. I mean, they quit touring and still made records forever. Which is
the best records.
Yeah, which is unheard of. I mean, you can't. That does not happen. That's probably like a once in a world. Yeah, I mean, no record company is not going to do your stuff, give you unlimited time, and then tell you don't have to tour to back it up.
Yeah, that's the dream. Living in a studio.
Oh, it would be the dream.
Man, we get a lot done. I think.
You could be so creative if you did, and you had genius good help to go along with it, as opposed to some of the guys that I've had before. It's like, yeah, man, that's good enough.
Right, yeah.
That's a great take.
Yeah.
When I'm having doubts about whether it's a great take, and he's telling me it is, and it's like, I know it's not, dude, but it's what I got at this point.
Yeah. Well, luckily, I always got myself telling me it needs to be better. So.
Well, I personally never listen to anything I've done. I have stacks of recordings still in that are still in the cellophane. Once it's done, I don't listen to my stuff I've done.
Bob Dylan was like that.
It's just kind of creepy to me. I mean, because if I do, then I hear every mistake, or say some of the songs have grown over the years, and it's like, oh, I wish I'd have done them like I do them now. Then so
right. So you'll listen to them after, like while you're recording though, to get them.
Yes, but once it's done, I never revisit.
Interesting.
It's like I hear everything that I could have done better.
Yeah, well,
I did it like on the first couple of projects, and it's like, oh, I can't ever do this again, And I was like a teenager then, and it's like, I don't want to hear this ever again.
Yeah, I do, but it's definitely not out of pride. It's like, oh my goodness, I got to change this and this and this and this. So,
well, I think that's good though. If you're not doing that, I teach songwriters a lot, and edit, rewrite it. If you think it's good enough, it's probably not.
Yeah. But then you can go. I guess you can get. What do they call it? You can go over.
Oh, you can.
On the far end, and then
you
edit it too much. I definitely have heard some albums that I think could have been a lot better if they would have been a little less hands off.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I often wonder how.
Or hands on, I should say.
I would like to sit around with some of the most famous writers and just see how that really goes down. I would like to see. One of my favorites is James McMurtry, if you know who James is.
I don't.
Oh, you need to check the guy out. He's as fine a songwriter as there is in America.
Really?
And his dad was a famous literary author. Larry McMurtry wrote Lonesome Dove and stuff like that. So he's worthy. But I would love to see how he sits down and writes, how much he rewrites those songs, because they're pretty fabulous songs.
Yeah.
And I would just love to see how hard he beats those things, or not.
Editing wise, you mean? Yeah.
He because they're, as a wordsmith and the way it all ties together with music, he is just fabulous at it.
You'll have to remind me after.
I will. He's a worthy listen. If you write songs and play acoustic music, he's a worthy listen.
I think also it's interesting because sometimes I'll have the basic structure for a song, but then I need to play it live 10 times or 20 times before I really figure it out.
I think you're right.
And then other times I already know basically what it's going to be, but that happens a lot.
I think with songwriters, sometimes the song has to live a bit to get to where it needs to be, and particularly before you put it in stone. Like once you record it, it's kind of in stone, but you can do it and let it live a little bit before you have to do that. I think that's important sometimes.
Definitely.
Because it kind of songs have, even after you write them, they kind of have a life of their own.
They do.
And they will haunt you for years to come too. Once you put them out,
they can.
You'll be somewhere and somebody will say, play so and so, and it's like, I've been trying to get away from that song my whole entire life.
Yeah, what do you do with that?
I don't.
You got to bring new stuff.
You do, and hope that people forget that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I have some pretty cute novelty songs that people always want to hear if you play in a bar, and I'm kind of ashamed of them, but I don't know if it's the. I have a song about making bullets out of bat droppings.
Okay.
During the Civil War.
You'll have to play it for me.
And people want to hear that, and I wrote that as a joke. Well, I don't know if it was a joke, but I wrote it for fun, and I did it once, and then it's haunted me. I have another one about a guy running with the bulls that's been recorded by several people that I do not like that song, but people want to hear it.
It's funny how that works. I don't think that the artist is always the best judge of what's going to relate, because I know I'm not, and I always have no idea what song is going to be somebody's favorite song.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
And then I'll write this song that I think is a masterpiece.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah,
And it just doesn't connect.
It's like, I've done that so many times. Man, I really believe in this song.
Yeah.
It's a really good song. I'm really proud of this. It's like, yeah, it's okay song, man. But you know, I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't go over. It's like on records, you put records out, and I'm clueless of which ones that'll get airplay and which ones that won't. Over the years, I could never do that.
I'm the same.
And even you can, I guess you can never let me choose the order on you know, on songs, you know, with like, I would probably open, say a CD project, I would probably open it with the strongest song I had, which, you know, makes sense to me, you know, but then, you know, it may not be the one everybody, it'll be something at the end that I threw on there is, you know, you got, say, a dozen songs, and, you know, I think 6 of these are really good, but, you know, as we get on down, I'll put that on and I'll be the one somebody likes.
Yep. And the fact of the matter is, I think no matter who you go see, they usually play the hits.
They do.
I mean, I guess if you want to tour, you have to.
Yeah.
You save it for the end.
Most people do not like to hear new stuff, particularly if it's you have a big following, then they don't want to hear your new stuff. It's like, well, we'll wait till this becomes a hit, man. Just skip it, and we'll, you know, or you haven't had a hit in a while, so just play those old ones, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Anyway.
I will say, well, the Well Drinkers got to open up for Molly Tuttle and Ketch Secor from Old Crow, and we were wondering, you know, are they going to play Wagon Wheel? Like, of course they are.
Of course they
and
are.
I don't know how many times they've played it, but they're going to play it.
Well,
we got to play it with them, which was really cool.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. Now to play it with them would be fun. With Ketch, that would be fun to play.
It's funny because when you're at a show and someone says Wagon Wheel, you say how much money you got.
Exactly what. Yeah, I have a denomination that you can put that on if you want to hear it. You know, it's not a $20 bill.
Yeah.
You know? but by the same token, if it's your song, of course you're going to do it.
Yeah.
You know.
It probably still feels good the 1000th time, maybe too, if you're not sick of it.
Well, and even if you're sick of it, you think about the people who have made a life on 1, maybe 2 hit songs,
Right.
and they've had to do that song, you know,
Zillion
times, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know the song "Achy Breaky Heart."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that Billy Ray Cyrus ever had another song. And I mean, how long can you go out and do that? I mean, it's not even that great a song.
No.
I mean, I can understand you have we'll take "Gentle on My Mind," John Hartford, one of my favorite songwriters. That is a worthy song. You could do that song and feel good about it forever. Mm-hmm. But then you get something like, I don't know how good I'd feel with, like, if "Achy Breaky Heart" was mine. I don't know how good I'd feel about it.
That's your masterpiece.
That's your masterpiece. You know?
That's how you'll be remembered.
Of course, all the way to the bank, I guess. I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Well, it's work too. But another thing is, that's why I think live performance is so important. Well, I like to pick too. I like to write, but I really like to pick.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a picker way before I
was a writer.
Got obsessed with songwriting.
Right.
And so that's where my heart really sings a lot of the time. And if you're playing the same song a million times, but maybe your solo's totally different, or maybe the tempo's a little different or something, but not too much.
Right.
Don't go all Bob Dylan on everybody and change the song completely.
Yes.
But
almost every time you play it live.
surely there's a way to keep it fresh. Yeah, I saw him one time, and it was really cool being there, but he just, reworked all the songs, and he has the right to do that, and good for him.
Right.
But,
But, I read where Tom Petty backed him up for a while, and Mike Campbell, his guitarist, it would drive him crazy because it would be a different key each night.
Really?
A different version, and he said it just drove him crazy.
On the tour, it was a different every night of the tour?
The tempo was different. The key was different.
Wow.
And he said that just drove me crazy.
Is he just trolling everybody, or
who knows? But then I saw the band backed him up for so long, and they love that part that it changed all the time.
Yeah.
But I guess Mike Campbell is one of those guys that likes structure, everything the same way, and that would drive you crazy.
Yeah, I get where he's coming from.
I mean,
there's got to be a way to keep it fresh without making it unrecognizable.
But I think he does. He changes tempos. He changes. Over the years, if you listen, you can find just take a couple of songs, and you can find so many versions of the way he's done it.
Yeah.
And to have that happen to you every night, that would be kind of hard as your band member.
And all the versions everyone else has done.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, that's true, too. So it would be like, for me personally, I think it'd be an adventure. Oh, what are we going to do this in tonight, you know?
Right.
However, I don't think it wasn't like, okay, so you and me are playing, you're probably, if you've been doing this song in G, but you decide to, well, I say A, but tonight you decide that your voice can't handle it and you're going to knock it down to G. You would probably tell me that before.
Oh, I'd tell you.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, if you go out there and you've played the song for 6 weeks of touring in A and then you go out there and start playing in G, that would be pretty aggravating.
It would be.
You know, it'd be like, oh, what happened here?
He's been known to be a little trickster.
Yeah,
so
I think,
I wouldn't be surprised if he just did it just to piss people off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I could see that, you know, because I saw that the guy that's the curator here, he saw him in Asheville a couple of weeks ago, and he said he played them all behind the piano. Would play like 3 tunes, walk out beside the piano and wave, and then go back and play 3 more. And played this whole show on piano.
Wow.
Which would be kind of weird if you went to see Bob Dylan and he played all piano songs.
I think it could be cool. I mean, I'd prefer that to when I saw him. The songs were so. Maybe if the songs were recognizable on piano, I think it would be cool. But if they were also totally different, I think that would be.
Yeah, I mean, it could be cool.
Because when I saw him, I mean, I had no idea what song was what, and I couldn't understand what he was saying either.
Well,
so I was just like,
thing.
what? And then maybe I would hear like one thing, like a Rolling Stone,
right.
And I'd be like, oh, he's playing. And I'm really good at that, like guessing songs when they start and stuff like that. So,
you know, that's another thing too. He can be a really good singer. I mean, I won't say a great singer, but he can be a really good singer. I mean, you can go back and find the stuff where he really did a really good job.
Nashville Skyline.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then there's other times where you have no idea. I mean, it's just like,
yeah,
you can't even, particularly when you see it live, it's like, don't ask me the words of that song if I don't already know it, because I don't understand what he's saying.
Yeah. Well, he's the king.
He's the king, though, yeah.
Do what he wants to do, I guess.
He can, so.
Yeah.
So, all right, tell me about being a guitarist. Since you claim you're more of a picker than a...
I go through phases. I sometimes I won't even think about guitar. I'll just be obsessed with songwriting. But I think it's always come the most natural to me was picking. So I as a guitarist, Jimmy Page, Jimi Hendrix, you know, all that early. I mean, that was like Stairway Solo, note for note. You know.
Yeah, I mean
Beatles, George Harrison. Blues, all kinds of blues. Stevie, huge influence. In fact, I think Stevie Ray's, what is the name of that one? There's a live video, Montreux Jazz Festival, I think it is, 84. And it's my favorite music video of anything I've ever seen. This is like right before he got sober, which I don't know if that is good or bad, but he's just never dripping in sweat and, you know, dripping in cocaine and whiskey and just like, this is the best show I've ever seen. So, and that one where he smashes the guitar, but then he plays it after it's smashed, and then good God, man. So he was a huge influence on me, I would say. So blues, and then I think I got into just anything 90s. You know, and then obviously I always liked country and stuff like that. And I've always liked bluegrass, but I didn't go to bluegrass school, which is very interesting because that's what I do now.
Yeah, it is.
I still have a lot to learn.
I mean, but I've heard the stuff you made that transition pretty well. I've heard your bluegrass stuff.
Well, thank you.
You know, and that's a very different style of playing bluegrass as opposed to shredding Stevie Ray blues, you know. Sure. I mean, it's okay. We're talking a basic 3 chords, but we're talking a world of difference in style and everything.
I think this is going to sound weird, but I think maybe I was born for it, because even when it wasn't the style of songs that I was writing,
Right.
nor was it the style of guitar that I was playing. I always had a knack for it.
Right.
And I would always just write country songs or like kind of stuff like that. So I think that I'm in the right place.
Well, that's great. Well, bluegrass it's just wide open these days.
It is.
The Asheville area is packed full of good bluegrass bands.
Yeah, and I think it's cooler than Nashville in a lot of ways.
Oh, it is
because
way cooler.
They're songwriters. They're not all just playing covers, and they're not all playing the same covers.
No.
It just to me, it's cooler.
It is. It is. It is a good area. There's so many good acoustic bands there. Songs from the Road Band, Fireside, Balsam Range,
Town Mountain,
Unspoken Tradition. There's just loads of good bands there these days.
Yep.
And that's just in the acoustic bluegrass side of it.
Yeah. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, it's a good place to be.
I think we're spoiled in Asheville sometimes, especially because there's so much of it. You'll go and see just a world-class picker, or 5 of them.
Sure.
And it'll just be somewhere in Asheville.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And I think a lot of people take that for granted.
They probably do. We take it for granted right here in Shelby. Shelby is low per capita. I will tell you, you would be lucky to find any place per capita in the United States with better pickers than in Cleveland County.
Okay.
They're just incredible.
Probably because of Earl Scruggs.
Yeah. It's a music town. Don Gibson was from here, or Scruggs was from here. Patty Loveless lived here. There's musicians from here working in every style of music. Brooke and Darren Aldridge, if you know who they are. Mm-hmm. She's like the queen of bluegrass singers, 4-time IBMA award winner. It's in just about any genre here, you can find someone who is Alicia Bridges, who had the biggest disco hit of all time. This town just reeks of music.
Really?
Yeah.
We got to book something here.
Oh, you need to book something. I can hook you up.
Okay.
You need to. This town, I don't know many towns where you can go to this stop sign right here, and there's a guitar on top of that stop sign.
Is there?
Yep.
Wow.
Around town, there are records that have been painted with Don Gibson songs. There'll be like a record, and someone will draw a picture of what the song is about.
Wow.
So,
and then you got this right here.
This is too.
For those listening, we're sitting in a room for children to come and play whatever instrument they want. There's banjos, there's mandolins, there's ukuleles, there's guitars, there's drums, there's shakers, and this is just open for people to come, right?
Anybody that comes in here.
Yeah, this is amazing.
It really is. It's the only place that I've been that I've seen access for young musicians to come in. Plus, out here they have programs like on Saturdays that expose people. They'll have like a drum circle in here. They'll have like hands-on ukulele or guitar. You can come in. You don't have to know anything about it, but you can bring your child up here to it, and they'll get a little basic instruction. How maybe you can make. How maybe you can do.
Right.
Something as simple as that, which it's pretty easy to learn, and then there you go. You might have yourself a musician. It's really cool.
It is cool. Bluegrass seems to be one of those. I see so many youngsters.
Yeah.
Playing bluegrass more than other stuff, and I'm not sure why.
I don't know why it is, other than the fact that one of the things that bluegrass kind of has always had that's not really, but is, they have like flat picking contests where you see 13-year-old kids that can shred. It's like, oh my gosh, that kid just did that, and so and he'll find half a dozen other kids there doing that similar to his age, and then they turn out to be Molly Tuttle or
Yeah.
Billy Strings.
Yeah.
You know? I mean,
It's cool.
it is cool.
I'm always almost a lot of shows that we go to. There will be some father or mother that comes up with their kid and he plays banjo or she plays fiddle, and
But that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in other styles of music.
I don't think it does.
I mean, if you look back at bluegrass, Ricky Skaggs they brought him up to Bill Monroe, Marty Stewart. Yeah, I mean, that just doesn't happen in any other. I mean, they might let you as a publicity deal come up and maybe, but they won't take you on tour with you like they did with Marty Stewart. I mean, okay, this 13-year-old kid can play.
Bring him up.
I'm playing with right now, a 17-year-old Dobro's pedal steel player who is already being endorsed by Emmons Pedal Steel Guitars.
Wow.
And you just do not find that places. I mean, this kid has such a huge, bright future. Mm-hmm. And but you have to have someone say, yeah, you can come play with us.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. You got to foster it.
Yeah.
You got to grow it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, I don't know, it might be just the times we're living in, too. Maybe 20 years ago, there would have been more electric guitarists or something.
True.
But I don't know. Bluegrass just keeps it coming, man. It's bigger than it's ever been, and it's going to get bigger than it is now. And
I attribute a lot of that to bluegrass has opened its mind to broadening its horizons. I've been on this kick that a lot of people have listened to beach music in North Carolina, which is a form of R&B that people do a dance called shag to. But it's a dying art. Mm-hmm. It's going away. No young people listen. No new bands play it, and the guys who used to play it are just playing pop music these days.
Right.
Bluegrass is not doing that, you know. It's broadening horizons, you know.
Yep.
It's more open, and I take that back to Earl Scruggs, who wouldn't just play straight up bluegrass. You know, he played all kinds of stuff in his band. Mm-hmm. You know, you take it back to the Will the Circle Being Broken album, where, you know, kind of nitty-gritty dirt band, rock and roll band, kind of hooks up with the old bluegrass guys, Jimmy Martin, stuff like that.
I think people are, in general, kind of longing for something more organic too.
That could be.
And I think maybe that's why bluegrass is getting a lot more fans. But there's definitely people like Billy Strings. I mean,
yeah,
it's undeniable.
Well, I mean, he's fantastic. He pays plenty enough homage to the old stuff, while at the same token doing his own thing, and taking his acoustic music to so many other type. I mean, you can find him jamming with everybody from,
Tommy Emmanuel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can find him. I just saw him in Post Malone.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, you know, that's how you grow your genre of music.
I think a big part of it too is covers, maybe, because they'll bluegrassify or cover, you know. Doesn't matter the genre.
I agree.
Which I think goes in hand with what you were saying about it's evolving and it's open to other things, and I think it's going to keep going that direction. I think it's just going to get better and better.
And you know, there again, the quality. I mean, the quality of bluegrass players has always been pretty good, but it's probably as good as it's ever been, or better. I mean, there's so many quality. You know, you used to have a small handful of acts. You might even have a West Coast version a little bit, but mostly you're stuck in North Carolina, Kentucky, you know, Tennessee, Ohio. That was pretty much your audience. This is a worldwide audience now.
Yep.
Which that helps too.
It does.
You know, so, and you have bands like yours out there just shredding along. You know,
we're trying.
You know,
it's cool because we have different types of songwriters in the band, and it's interesting because we definitely do traditional stuff, but as a songwriter, I want it to be something fresh.
Well, it's I understand it because Darren Nicholson just told me. He said, "Listen," he said, if you're a bluegrass writer these days and you're going to write about things that happened in the 40s and 50s and
Right.
expect it to be applied to today's world, you're not going to have much success. You know, nobody's moonshining anymore. If you look at the Molly Tuttle, her new song kind of talks about that. I mean, you know, you're not going to win audiences with songs about a lifestyle 50 years ago.
And that's another way that it's evolving, because I think you can sing about whatever you want with
Right.
bluegrass right
True,
now,
you
and
can.
people will love it. It could
Yeah.
be about. I think it could be about anything.
It
I don't know
can,
What
it can.
couldn't be about.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, yeah, they're open to it, and I agree. It's a good acoustic music's in a good place,
Very good place.
you know. So, and you know, I'm proud to be around it a lot. You're a big part of playing it, so you know, I'll have to admit these days I wind up being more of an electric bass player than I am a acoustic bass player. But that hasn't always been the case.
Is that just lugging it around, or
Oh no, it's the style of music I play now. Although sometimes with that, I will play acoustic upright, but usually it's just easier to play electric.
nothing wrong with that?
Well, you know, bluegrass actually is okay with electric bass these days.
Yeah, back then too.
Back then too, yeah. I mean, the early Lonesome River Band.
Yep.
Electric bass going to town, you know. I see it a lot. Nothing wrong with it.
No.
Well, actually, Earl Scruggs Review had an electric bass player song.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'll just get a YouTube playlist going, and
Yeah.
a lot of them from the 80s and 70s will have an electric bass
Yeah.
player. Like, it's no thing.
I mean, it's kind of blasphemy, but still, you know, I mean, and then you see take Larry Keel. You know Larry?
Yep.
Jenny's always played an electric upright, you know? So, I mean, that's pretty standard these days.
Right.
You know?
They got those ones with no body too,
Yeah.
if you really want
yeah.
to.
Which touring is so much easier.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have to lug an upright bass around, you have to know a repairman. You have to know a repairman almost everywhere you go, because they're so fragile. Fiddle players have to do the same thing too. They're always in need of repair.
Really?
Yeah, this is a fragile instrument. Unlike a guitar,
A little more compact.
a little more compact. I mean, well, you know the problems of playing. I think your problems really come when you're in and out a lot. Like if you're playing, today we're playing festivals, tomorrow we're playing a club, and playing outside just always is wonky on
Every
guitars.
instrument.
Strings instruments are just, you know, it's like, no, don't make us play out here. It's too humid, you know. You know, my bass would go, this is too cold. I'm not playing today. You know, I'm not going to play well for you today. I'm going to make you beat the crap out of me to get tone out of me.
You're going to have to tune it between every song.
Exactly.
In the middle of a song.
In the middle of a song, yeah. And I mean, and again, guitars are as bad as any mandolins.
Yeah.
Poor mandolin players. Double strings.
Yeah.
It's as bad as 12-string players.
I had always, I was looking at those, you know, those fiberglass guitars.
Sure.
I always wanted one as a backup, just in case. I never bought one, but it'd be cool to have one that you didn't have to worry about.
I had a graphite top Martin for a long time. Most dependable guitar I ever had.
Really? And the back and sides was something, mahogany or rosewood?
Yeah, no, it wasn't really. It was more like a
Composite?
composite.
Okay.
But you know, that guitar was always in tune. Even if I put strings on it right now and we're going to play in 10 minutes, it was always in tune. Did it sound that great unplugged? No, it did not. But when you plugged it in and you ran it through your EQ and stuff, it was as an acceptable guitar. I mean, unless you're going to do the Tony Rice thing and stand up there, which you may do that with your guitar at a mic, which is always hit or miss.
Yeah.
I mean, I do not like really the sounds so much of a plugged-in guitar.
No.
Sometimes they're a necessity, particularly if you're playing outside and it's windy and stuff. That guitar worked as well as my Martin with a Fishman transducer in it.
Really?
So
yeah, it'd be nice to have those rain song guitars.
Yeah.
Just to have, just in case it's rainy.
Well, I never felt bad to take that guitar anywhere either, because if I left it in the car, I'd have to worry about coming back and the top be jacked up on it or anything.
Yeah.
And of course, at some point, as with most musical instruments, somebody wants it, and in my case, most of my instruments are for sale. I mean, not that I'm seeking to sell one of them, but
they could be.
But they could be, because somebody go, oh man, that's cool. I'd really like to have that.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So
make me an offer.
But that was not. But I got that second hand from a guy the very same way, and I don't think they're that easy to find. Now the rain song might be, but they've kind of fallen by the wayside. You don't see them around much.
I mean, nobody's going to use that as their number one. I would never use one of those as my number one, but it'd be cool to just have if I ever needed it for something.
I mean, you could take it anywhere you wanted to. That's the good thing.
Exactly.
And if you did get a crappy day where it was 100 degrees and they put you right out in the center of the stage, or if you had one where it's like 20 degrees, you wouldn't have to worry. You could just pull that out and say, well, there's not that many people here anyway. They're not going to, like a festival, if you're the first guys up,
Sounds good plugged in.
Sounds
probably.
good plugs in. Nobody's going to know the difference.
Yeah.
But are you going to do anything serious with it? Heck no.
Probably not. No.
So what else we need to know?
Well, what can I tell you?
Well, how much do you sing?
How much do I sing? Like during my day or with the band?
With the band.
With supper break, I would say 20% of the time. And with well drinkers, even less. I mean, I just really I've been writing with Jake. We've written a couple songs together, but he's the main singer, although we have been peppering in some other singers. Now, obviously my solo stuff, my project, I sing everything.
Right.
So,
I guess in these other outfits you sing harmony too, right?
I do.
Which that is a whole another art form in itself. I mean, harmony singing, we could do a whole podcast about that.
We could, and a good harmony singer is real hard to come by.
They are.
For whatever reason. I'm not sure. You just got to be around it, I guess.
I think, and a lot of people just can't hear that. I mean, it's just beyond their ability to hear it. Also, I'll use me, for example. Sitting here as quiet as this is right now, I can sing harmony to you fine.
Yeah.
But we get out and it's loud and my monitor mix is bad, or I don't have a monitor, or my in-ear doesn't work, then I'm not going to guarantee you anything with my harmony parts, you know? So, I mean, but some people, Kevin Bridges that I play with, he could sing harmony to a truck going down the road. Right. Some people are just blessed that way.
Yeah.
It's a work thing for me, but you can learn to do it. I mean,
yeah,
you have to work.
I had for a while I was using a pedal, a vocal harmonizer for my solo stuff, right. And it sounds good. It does. It's not a human, but
and the other deal is you still have to sing if you sing flat, it's going to sing flat harmony to you. I mean, it doesn't come with like pitch correct.
That one, actually, that pedal, it knows what harmony to sing by what chord you're playing. Right. So you plug your guitar into it, and it's a C, so it's going to harmonize in C, which is kind of cool.
Harmonize a third or a fifth or something.
Yeah. I stopped using it, though. I've been just doing a mic on my guitar and a mic on my face, and I'm trying to get to a point where I can rock a room just that. Yeah. I don't need a loop pedal. I don't need a harmonizer. No. So got a lot of gigs coming up, so we'll work on it.
That's good. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to come down here to do this.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
All right, this one's called I Found God. take the money, push a button, put it in the box, serving bullshit to slop. A lip service and a smile, then I punch the clock. Oh, later on at the bar, feeling labels and moving my mouth, but there's something stuck in my head. I had a dream, but the memory's almost dead. Oh, Friday night at the show, a gutter pump threw up on my shoe, but shit comes and it goes. I turn the tables on someone down the road.